So we have Ruth Sanchez to the stage as well. We introduced her earlier, Ruth Sanchez, Tato's sister. You got to see her in the film as well.
All right.
So the question I just want to ask, and this is kind of to everyone, because one of the things I love so much about this film was that, like many of us, I mean, I know first and foremost Tato is a poet and educator, and someone who, you know, worked in arts and culture. But watching this film, I must say, I had no idea that Tato had created the Lower East Side, a postmark. I mean, that was just incredible. I mean, I learned something just brand new about it. But also, I think the film did a really good job of showing that Tato was really involved in art and activism and politics on the Lower East Side, and they weren't just two separate parts of his life. He used arts and activism, and he used activism and politics and merged that with arts and culture to do his work, and I think that's really important. And I just want to ask, Sonia got to worked with Tato on all these as an activist, and so I want to talk to her about that history with him, but also Vivian, how you brought that together in the film. So if you could both talk about that a little bit.
Well, from my point of view, first of all, thanks everybody for being here on Saturday night. Really, thank you. So, gracias también a todos. And I just want to say that working on this project, I inherited the work when I went to Centro. They was like, toma, can you please do this? It had been on the shelf for 5 years. And my background and my training is as a journalist. So I had to put together, I didn't know Tato at all. So I'll tell you that I think that over time he was every day talking to me. And as you see the beginning of the piece, it's static, and it's like you're hearing his voice coming from allá arriba, you know? And then over time it was, how do I tell his story? What's the best way to tell the story? And to tell it at the height of his career. And it was interesting to learn how to weave the poetry, the playwright, the activist, and how to tell the story through the music. And the conguero was important to me. It's important to us. It's a part of our music. It's part of our heritage. It's part of who we are. But it's also his words were so strong. So even from the beginning, the titles, just the poems, the titles for every poem was important to him, the words. So I needed you to see that. I needed you to feel it. I needed you to feel him throughout this piece. And so I'm grateful for just every little bit of contribution, even from everything I found on YouTube. I mean, I took it as like, oh, this is a gold mine. So, and I have to thank you as well for just even your small contribution that you had in the piece, but it was important in telling his story. So in that way, I can tell you that he's a part of my life now as well, but thank you, Ruth, for sharing him with the world.
Thank you.
I lived in the Lower East Side, and Tato lived in the Lower East Side. And as I mentioned in the documentary, we lived 3 blocks away. I didn't mention this in the doc. We lived 3 blocks away from the Henry Street settlement. And we have Carmen here, who also comes initially from the Lower East Side. And the Henry Street settlement was a resource center that provided us, and Tato was very much a part of it. And he brought many of his works in there and expanded the Hispanic side to Henry Street settlement. And when I met Tato, he was very much looked at in the community, in the area, as someone always with an incredible smile. Anyone he met, he would always stop, even if he was in a rush, just to say hi. He would stop. He wouldn't just like ignore you. Also someone who was self-taught, constantly learning, I mean, reading books. And the way that I really got to meet Tato was we went on a cruise, one of these Bear Mountain cruises, and my brother was there, and he spoke to Tato, and my brother looked up to Tato, just like all the youth in the Lower East Side. And he said to Tato, they started chatting, and then Tato said, listen, we're gonna have a relay when we get to Bear Mountain. If you want, you can join us. And then my brother volunteered and said, yeah, we'll all do it. Yeah, sure. I ended up becoming the partner with Tato. So we ran, and they were in twos. And I ran with him, and we were winning. And we were going downhill, and we were really going fast. And I tripped. Scraped my whole side. And it really looked worse than what it was. But Tato felt he felt terrible. So, and we lived in the same area, so what he would do is at night, he would pass by, because he knew that I would be sitting and talking to my friend, because Mom, who's here, was very strict. She was one of those that she can only leave me where she could see me. And if I went to a party or one of these house dances, she would be looking for me. And they would tell me, Sonia, your mom is down that block. So I would go the other way around. She would always catch up to me. And what are you doing in it? She was a single parent. At a time it was not popular to be a single parent. And so I guess the bottom line was that she was concerned that I would get pregnant, her being alone with my brother. And so she lived with that constant pressure and always making sure that I was home early, that I did the right things, okay? So with Tato, he would come and we would sit on the bench where Mommy would look out the window, but she loved him, so it was okay. And we would talk, and at that time, we were going to the university. We were 18, and we would talk about P.D. Thomas, about math. He loved math and poetry and so forth. And so eventually, our friendship became, he said, can I date you? And I knew Tato. He was the ladies' man. He had the most beautiful women, and everyone gravitated towards Tato. So I said, I didn't tell him, but I said, to protect myself, I said, we can only date if I'm able to see other people. Didn't mean any of that. He was the first one I ever dated. But I knew him, and I needed to protect myself. And I think he was surprised. He didn't expect that. So we dated, and eventually the dating, it took a little while. There were some challenges along the way, and we eventually got married. Had my daughter, and today, November 10, and this is the reason why she's not here today, it's her birthday. So I gave birth November 10. And I remember giving birth, and I had decided to do the natural. And at that time, there were not many hospitals that used to have, that encouraged or supported natural childbirth. And Tato, when I first told him, he said, are you crazy? I'm gonna faint before I even get to the room. And he took the classes. And so my daughter was born, and he was there. He would go from my face and say, are you okay? Are you okay? Okay. And then he would go down and say, okay, let's see what we have here. Had a beautiful daughter, turned out to be an incredible human being. You saw her in the documentary. And today, she's actually, we have made arrangements because she wanted to be by the water. So we had already made arrangements before this to have her stay at a place, my boss's place. So that's the reason why she's not here.
Understandable.
Okay. Yeah. So with Tato, at the time when I met him, I was doing community work, and I was one of the youngest community organizers. And he ended up deciding to get a group as well. And he had a group of boys, and I had a group of girls that I was organizing. So we would get together, and we would have sessions where we would invite speakers. And back then, we were talking about what's the difference between the relationship between women and men, and different separate sessions between the guys and another session separate with the women. And then we started doing things together with our groups. Super organized. He was from a very young age and always had music in him. It wasn't something just performing and dancing. He used to compete in this is how good he was. He competed in the Hipólito Vega concurso against the boroughs. The Bronx was very good. Brooklyn didn't stay behind. And he represented Manhattan. We were so proud. And he won. So he had music. It was just part of him. And when I met his family, I understood why. It was so much a part of the culture. And meeting this family, it was like they were so proud. And they had an extended family. So for all the events, they would bring Jenny, Victor, or we would go and visit them. And I only had my brother and my mom and myself. So we were a very small family. So to be introduced to this family, and then on weekends, they would do these shows. And Tato and the nephews would get dressed, and they would do dancing. So it was just such a wonderful element of the culture that I had not been exposed to. And I remember going to Puerto Rico with Ruth and the family, and they introduced another side of Puerto Rico. I had never gone to La Fiesta de Loíza. Whenever I went to Puerto Rico, it was a different part of Puerto Rico. So to be exposed to La Fiesta de Loíza, it was like, wow, this other side of Puerto Rico that's so rich. So it gave me a true appreciation to being Puerto Rican and what it was. And Tato was multidimensional between organizing, being politically aware, but doing it in a way that was loving. He never, in any way, whether you were independent, whether you were popular, or whatever you were, he would never say you're wrong, unfortunately, in the climate that we're in today. He respected everyone's opinion, and what came out from him was the love. It didn't matter what you thought and whether it was different. It was his love. And so I just want to say that meeting him and having him in my life and all the people that he touched, and having this woman who's making it a point, and thank you, everyone, for making his life continue living and living that legacy, because there are not too many people that were like Tato. He was one of a kind. So, thank you.
Sonia es mi hermana, la única mujer con que mi hermano se casó, y esa hija es mi vida. Y esa hija, ella, yo la vi antes que naciera. Yo le pregunto a Sonia si ella está encinta, me dice yo no. Y después, 3 meses después me dijo, I'm pregnant. And eso fue una cosa tan linda en la vida de nosotros, la hija que ella nos dio, a la familia, a mi mamá, a mis otros hijos, y nunca ha habido separación. Ella para mí, Sonia es mi hermana, con mi mamá, con Tato, ella estuvo conmigo hasta lo último ahí, y no nos vemos todos los días, pero sabemos que nos queremos. Yo estoy ahí para ella, ella siempre ha estado ahí para mi familia. Y eso tengo que decirlo, yo la adoro.
Want to translate?
Well, she was saying that, you know, Sonia was the only person that Tato married, and Sonia, I mean, to sort of break it all down, she's very close with Ella, Sonia and Tato's daughter, and she was always very loved and very close, and the family still has stayed very close. I mean, that's really abbreviating it, very down to the
No, es
the bone.
es la verdad. Ella, para nosotros, y no importa la otra mujer que Tato trajera a la casa, nada. yo le decía...
He was a ladies' man.
Y yo le decía, después que ellos se habían divorciado y todo, el que llegara y decía, Sonia es la primera aquí. Así que nadie puede... So I make it clear because I'm very clear. You know what I mean? It was a family. It was a family.
There's just one thing I want to mention is the fact that when I was given this project, again, it was just learning and then growing, and it stays with me. It's continued to grow every day. But when I kept doing the math, it's like, okay, they came from Puerto Rico to New York. She was going to give birth to her daughter in July, and then it turned out that her daughter and I share the same birthday.
Right.
So that's not coincidence.
Eso es una historia.
All connected somehow.
Sí, sí.
I'm just going to ask one more question, and then I'll let you guys ask them a lot of questions. You guys probably know of Tato's work and his legacy, and you can ask him questions. But since Sonia brought up music, how music was so important, and it was so important, obviously, in Tato's life as a dancer. You can hear it in his poetry, it's very rhythmic and percussive, and he knew a lot of musicians. I remember at Central, I was going through Carlos Ortiz's archives. Carlos Ortiz was a photographer that came from Puerto Rico and lived in the Bronx, and has this incredible, his archive is incredible of what he's documented in the Puerto Rican community in the Bronx. And I would going through, and there'd be tons of photos of Tato with other musicians. So your family has a close connection with musicians and music, and you do. Can you talk a little bit about your connection with musicians, and did you introduce Tato to a lot of them, I'm sure. Tell us a little bit about your life with musicians.
Ruth, starting from Puerto Rico, when you were in Puerto Rico.
Yes. Anyway,
Pacheco
voy a decir la parte de cuando él era un niño.
Okay.
When he was a child.
Y yo,
And
mi papá era bien estricto conmigo, yo era la única hija mujer. Y no me deja salir ni al balcón, no me deja salir. Y yo crecí rebelde. Y todavía soy rebelde.
She grew up as a revolutionary, per se.
Yes, I was. So, nace Tato.
Tato was born. Go ahead.
Tato born, right. And, ¿habla en español? ¿Tú hablas inglés? Ok. Nace Tato. Y yo lo adopté como un hijo mío. Y ese coraje que yo tenía, que yo me quería mudar, pequeña, 10 años, me quería irme de ahí, y todo eso se desapareció de mi vida. Entonces, para mí, y lo digo, él fue mi hermano, el padre de figura de mis hijos, porque yo trabajaba, mi mamá les cocinaba, yo les busqué una persona para que le limpiara la casa y esas cosas, y yo trabajaba día y noche, pero él era el que guiaba a los niños para las escuelas, a qué escuela iban, y Sonia también, y pendiente a todo era él. Y así fue que, para mí, yo sufro aún que él se nos fue, pero entonces lo que he hecho es coger el legado de él y desarrollarlo y llevarlo y que crezca y sigue creciendo. Y ahora que vemos este grupo de gente aquí, yo voy a anunciar que en mayo 9 del año que viene vamos a desarrollar la Fundación Tato Laveira. Y esa fundación va a ser para niños de todos los colores, de toda raza.
And as I mentioned earlier, Ruth made the Tato Laveira Foundation, and on May 9th, they will do a big event to sort of benefit, to raise money. And that's Tato's birthday, May 9th is.
Right.
Tato.
Y yo le pregunto a Babi, que yo quiero que él me ponga una banda de jóvenes, porque ya los vio no están nada. De jóvenes, de todos los colores. No, tú eres el único que puede estar ahí. No, mira, y ahorita cuando pasaron, yo sé que tú te diste cuenta, viste que están los chinos, que estaban todos Asians, y eso es lo que yo quiero hacer. Y Babi está responsable de eso para ese día. No, él lo va a hacer. Y tú vas a tocar también.
And the foundation is really to help children. Tato was so, it was so important to Tato to educate and the next generation.
Para educarlos, que vayan poesía, música, el que no tenga los recursos, lo que se recolecte ahí va a ser para eso. Esa es la fundación de él. So, mayo 9.
May 9th. May 9th, but May 9th, and hopefully a group of musicians, young musicians. Hopefully Bobby will lead that, and a group of young musicians to represent.
Lo he puesto responsable de eso.
Let's see if anyone has any questions.
It'll be at Tato Theater.
Right? It'll be at
Right,
Taino Tower,
right.
where they named the theater after Tato. So, well, we touched on some things, but we might want to go into more in depth. If anyone wants to ask any specific questions to anyone, to share.
Hi, my question is, how did you actually find the people to actually interview?
Well, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, most of these interviews had already been completed by Centro. So when I inherited is just going through it, and then I realized that I needed to have an expert, and the expert was Cubano Chino, that was originally William Luis, who was very helpful in this process. So there was only one interview that I actually did, and he was at the University of Tennessee, or Vanderbilt University. But other than that, I just had to figure out how to use the interviews that were already there.
No fue fácil porque este documental había pasado por 3 manos antes de llegar a ella. Cuando llegó donde ella, no era lo que nosotros visualizábamos, no era. Y entonces llegó donde ella y ahí está el producto. Y yo...
Incredible. Really. Incredible.
Y no le fue fácil con los hombres, porque los hombres la querían, y no le fue fácil, no querían aceptar que ella sí lo podía hacer. Era así. So, yo tuve que ir allí y decirle, le escondían las cosas y todo, le escondían los videos y todo a ella. So,
But I try not to remember those things. What I do though, my background is really from performing arts high school, and I remember the conductor would say, if you don't know your music, write the notes on your eyelids until you know it. And that form of perfection stayed with me in terms of work and practice. And so with every project that I have, whether I am in Kentucky, I am in Ibiza or anywhere, it's really to find the story, it's to find the people who are going to tell me the story, to find the elements that are going to hook you, to just know. I love storytelling, and he was the greatest one in terms of being able to tell a story with words, with emotion, with music. So how can I not be proud of it as I'm a Puerto Rican, So I'm American and I'm Puerto Rican. So thank you.
Are we going to get a chance to see this again?
So,
Are there more questions? We have there's so much knowledge here about the Lower East Side, about music here on the stage. Does anyone have any other questions they'd like to ask?
some of the poets are here too, right? Sery
Yes.
Colón,
Well,
Sery.
Sery Colón is one of the poets in the film, and he'll be on stage in a few minutes. You'll see Sery talk in the film, and he'll be on stage.
the-
Bobby?
You said there was some resistance from the archives at
No.
Central?
You know, it's, how can I be delicate and diplomatic? It's not my thing, really. It's just, it was very hard. I think I'm coming in as a woman and I'm saying, okay, this is how I envision it, and work with me. Don't resist. You know, just work, because I know that we can do this together. And it's just, either people are going to be a sponge and learn from you, or they're just going to be resistant, and you just have to just kind of say, what can I work with and what can I not work with? But at the end of the day, this is the final product, and I'm also proud of it, but I'm also saying I could also improve on it. I'm always looking at what else could I have done. Yeah.
Great product.
Y aquí hay otro caballero también que yo aprecio mucho, que también tiene que ver mucho con la obra de Tato, Zavala.
George Zavala is in the back. George
George
Zavala
Zavala.
is an
Párate.
artist, a visual artist, and he also worked with Tato on a
Párate.
film that Tato was, a play that Tato was doing on the Lower East Side.
Y right.
I'm sorry. Bill.
The music.
Right, the music, yes. He was responsible to that. Very good musician and very beautiful human being.
Yes.
That's right, my brother.
The part of the film that you saw when he was singing in Celia Cruz and the accompaniment, that was him.
Yep.
Oh, eso es lo que
This
yo
man.
quería decir, que cuando Celia muere, es importante, cuando Celia muere, la llevamos a Miami, después de velarla aquí, fuimos a Miami y la velamos. Y yo le cambiaba el peinado, las prendas, en cada sitio que fuimos. Pero cuando la están velando así, ya le tienen seguridad y todo, y toda la gente que pasaba decía algo, y yo venía y le escribía. Y yo le escribía, me dio esa inspiración y yo escribía todo lo que la gente decía, ay, mi negrita, te van, no deja ya. Y yo se la dejé a Tato y de ahí fue que él sacó ese poema.
Eso.
After Celia died, that's how he was able to write that.
Right?
It's a great story. Just saying that when Celia Cruz died and they had to take her from New York to Miami. And just writing the notes of what people were saying as they were paying their respects. Qué rico.
I just wanted to say one thing. You know, working with Tato was such a wonderful honor. I mean, I just, and the way he picked me, because when we met, he was blind, but we sat down, the musicians who were going to work with the poets, and this was working with Arturo Farrell's
Right.
Latin jazz
Right.
organization. And he sat down with the poets, and he sat down with musicians in a meeting, and he just had us sort of feel each other out, and we went around the table and everyone spoke. And the poets sort of, people, you know, looked at people and said, oh, I think I might want to work with that person, I might want to work with that person. And Tato was across the room from me, and somehow he felt my vibe, and he said, oh, that guy, Bill, let me go. And he just took my hand, and he said, I want to work with you. And he just, somehow he knew. And when we worked on the piece, it was a tribute to Celia Cruz. Originally, he came over to my house, and I laid down a clave on the computer, and he worked the poem over the clave, and I wrote the music to what he did, and his clave was so strong, just his voice speaking on the tape, and it was just so strong that I was able to put the music together for the Latin Jazz Ensemble. And originally, Eddie Conda was supposed to sing the song. And somehow it didn't work out rehearsal-wise for Eddie to learn the song. And Tato, and I was like, Tato, what are we going to do? We have this beautiful song. We have no one to sing. He said, you have to sing it. I said,
He did.
I speak a word of Spanish. I don't care. I want your black voice.
That was him.
Yes.
That was him.
Yes.
That's
He
right.
had me in front of all these people singing in Spanish. Crazy.
You know,
You learned it, though.
Yeah, and you know, it's another person here that he went to see this show. His name is Frank. He's the dancer. Get up.
Yay,
Frank.
that's right.
Tato went to see him. Tato went to see a show of him, and then he told the lady what with him. He said, you know, that guy can dance. That guy can dance. I had never met Frank before. And so when he died and then renamed the Tierra, the lady who was with him, I'm looking for somebody to dance. And then she told me about him. And then now I adapt him like a brother.
And he's,
But that was Tato. He got to Tato's house because his apartment is still there. I'm there. But he he screamed Tato all over, and I said, oh my God, Tato, you left this mess for me.
That's him dancing. He's dancing in the film, right?
He's the one that's dancing in the
He's the one
film.
who danced in the
With
film.
the fedora.
Yes.
With the two women.
Beautiful
Yes.
brother.
Yeah.
I love you, friend. Okay.
So any questions? Any questions? Tato, the music, the activism. Is here another question?
I have a question. Does the Latin children actually perform? Are they poet like he is?
Ella, or her son, poeta.
You know, with Eja, it's very interesting because when we separated, there was one day during the week that he would pick her up after school. And then the other time, she would go to the shop where Ruth had the salon, and they would babysit until I got there from work to pick her up. And I came one day to McDonald's, and then he would tell me wherever they met, and then would say, okay, meet us here, and I would pick her up. And they were at McDonald's sitting down, and I arrived, and it was so intense with the two of them that when I arrived, they didn't even, no one existed at that. It was just the two of them. And yes, she does write. And what he would do is she would speak to him on some of the stuff that she was writing, and he would get, just like she said in the film, in the documentary, he would get into it, and then the two of them would get into it. And it was incredible to see. As a matter of fact, the first time when I witnessed that, and I was so used to having attention, getting the attention, and when I see that they didn't even acknowledge me and stuff, I was actually jealous at what I saw between them. And then I quickly let that go and realized what they had was something really special. And at the end, actually, before he passed away, I would work one day with him. And so I got to see, besides being the wife and the mother, working with him and the process in writing, his creative process, which was incredible. And he, at the time before he passed away, he has a novel that he was writing. And he said to my daughter, I'm going to let you have this, and you make sure that it gets completed. And she's still working with that. But he would call her and say, and read the chapter, and then she'll give some feedback, and then he was so funny. He would read his stuff, or I would read it for him, and he would laugh like it was the first time that he heard it. And that laughter like a child. I said, Tato, how many times have I read this to you? It was, and the process, I mean, the way that he would just say, just write down whatever I'm telling you. And I would say, no, but you need to correct. He said, no, don't correct anything. Free form, just let me be. Just write it down. And we would write it down. And then he would come back and he'll say, okay, now we can clean it up. But his process was, you let the energy, the creative energy, just flow. And then later you can put it in order, you can edit it, and you can fix it and stuff. But allow that free creative energy just to flow. Incredible man.
But to answer your question, he had a son who's an artist too,
Yes.
Malik. Malik seemed beautiful, beautiful. That's what he did. Unfortunately, we lost him in his
Too early.
Too early. But Malik that's the music. That's the music that I told Vivian, if she can please adjust in the video, in the movies, some of Malik's sons. He was incredible. And he was identical like Tato.
Very natural. He would get on stage, and the same way that he would speak to you on a one-to-one, when he got up on stage, the same way. He would just, it was so natural for him being on stage. And before he passed away, he actually had an album that he had just completed. And in the documentary, you actually have him,
Here's a track.
one of the tracks he was singing.
That's what I say. I say, even though
Yeah.
he's not here, Vivian, you have to squeeze him in there. And it was beautiful. Yes, it was nice. It was part of him. Anyway.
And then
life.
just one more thing. Besides my daughter, Tato was very close on a one-to-one with his grandchildren. My daughter has a 6-year-old now and a 14-year-old. And when she was first born and Tato went to see her and he put her on his shoulder and she used to cry quite a bit. And the moment my daughter put him on his shoulder, she did not cry.
She put
So
her head
he
in
had this thing with the kids in the family and a very much a one-to-one relationship. When he went to Chicago to see David, his nephew, who used to call him Papa, her son, and again, one-on-one. Her daughter, who has a son, Simi. And each relationship was different. It's like he was able to get from you what it is, your gift. And then he would expand on that gift and really give you the confidence to realize this is a gift you have. Work with it. Enjoy it. Expand it. Incredible man. So.
More questions?
Yeah, I had not heard of Tato before coming here tonight. A beautifully told story. This question is really for you, Vivian. The way you told the story. You said you never met him. You got a lot of this material from the archives. But how did you know how to tell the story? How did you put it together in the way that you put it, so that we could understand this man? He was incredible, you know. And how are you able to tell his story the way that you did to make us understand who he was?
Her spirit got together with his spirit. Her spirit with his spirit, and they got it. She got it. And that's right. I told you guys. That's right. I stayed, and I do believe in that. I stayed, and this project passed through a lot of hands until it got to her. She was the one who was supposed to do it or finish.
There you go.
So anyway, I answered for you.
Yeah, yeah, we can talk about it after.
And we love her, and I adore you. And anything I told her, don't worry about me for you. And ella, the same thing. So we tie family. That's right.
So everyone, I want to give a big round of applause to Vivian Hernández Ortiz, Sonia Perez, and Ruth Sanchez.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Sery va a recitar. Sery va a recitar.
So now we're going to have a performance of some of the music and poetry that, and some of Tato's, I think, and some of the poetry that inspired Tato, his work. You saw in the film that he mentioned, that Juan Boria was mentioned. So the kind of poetry accompanied by music that would have been seen at a concert by with the likes of Juan Boria, a declamador like that, we're going to have some of that on stage now. So we're going to take a minute to rearrange the stage for the artists and then have the musicians come up. In the meantime, this will take 1 minute, but in the meantime, go back and get some pastelillos for the performance. And I want to welcome to the stage Jorge Vázquez, Nelson Seda, José Rivera, and Matthew Gonzalez. Now we're going to, again, do the poetry and music that inspired and influenced Tato Laveira, Poesía Afro-Antillana, and we have with us the musical director, Jorge Vázquez.
Thank you.
And he's accompanied by José Rivera, Nelson Seda, and Nelson Matthew Gonzalez.
For Tato Laveira.
Del oye, ay, del oye, del oye, ay, del oye, la arenú, sarará, del oye, ay, del oye. Del oye, ay, del oye, aleluya, ay, del oye, un ya con colaré, del oye, ay, del oye, aleluya, del oye, ay, del oye. Del oye, ay, del oye, aleluya, ay, del oye, incumán coñe, ay, del oye, ay, del oye, del oye, ay, del oye. Del oye, ay, del oye, aleluya, si ante yale, incumaguaye, ay, del oye, ay, del oye, la arenú, sarará, del oye, ay, del oye, del oye, eso, ay, del oye, aleluya, vuelve, del oye, ay, del oye, del oye, ay, del oye, la arenú, sarará, del oye, ay, del oye, del oye, ay, del oye, aleluya, si ante yale, incumancoye, ay, del oye, ay, del oye, del oye, ay, del oye, del oye, ay, del oye, aleluya, Anaíso, aile, aile, Anaíso, brille, Anaíso, aile, aile, Anaíso, brille. Ayer yo estuve enfermo y nadie me vino a ver, pero ahora yo estoy bueno y yo voy a vivir. Anaíso, aile, aile, Anaíso, brille. Cuña con colare, mi sirere con gomisie. Ay, Anaíso, aile. Anaíso, aile, aile, Anaíso, brille. Ay, Anaíso, ay, Anaíso, ay, Anaíso, aile. Anaíso, Estoy buscando un árbol que me dé sombra, porque el que tengo calor a mí me da.
Estoy buscando un árbol que me dé sombra.
Que me dé sombra, que me dé sombra.
Estoy buscando un árbol que me dé sombra.
Oye, porque todos los árboles lo quieren cortar.
Estoy buscando un árbol que me dé sombra.
Que me dé sombra, que me dé sombra.
Estoy buscando un árbol que me dé sombra.
Porque el que tengo suena con la lila.
Estoy buscando un árbol que me dé sombra.
Oye, que me dé sombra, que me dé sombra.
Estoy buscando un árbol que me dé sombra.
Porque el que tengo calor a mí me da.
Estoy buscando un árbol que me dé sombra.
Que todos los palos lo quieren cortar.
Estoy buscando un árbol que me dé sombra.
Porque el que tengo calor a mí me da.
Estoy buscando un árbol que me dé sombra.
Que me dé sombra, que me dé sombra.
Estoy buscando un árbol que me dé sombra.
Porque el que tengo me quiere cortar.
Estoy buscando un árbol que me dé sombra.
Porque todos los árboles lo quieren cortar.
Estoy buscando un árbol que me dé sombra. Estoy buscando un árbol. Matthew Gonzalez.
Pinturero,
Yuba la mare.
yuba que me muero,
Yuba la mare.
esos negros cangrejeros,
Yuba la mare.
Mayagüe que fue el primero,
Yuba la mare.
que subió a la loma,
Yuba la mare.
San Mateo de Cangrejo,
Yuba la mare.
que bajó con los huesos,
Yuba la mare.
bailero de vilero,
Yuba la mare.
bailero que me muero,
Yuba la mare.
Catalina Pistolero,
Yuba la mare.
yuba, 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 yuba que me muero,
Yuba la mare.
ay, yuba que me muero,
Yuba la mare.
la gallina y los pollitos,
Yuba la mare.
y bajó ya primero,
Yuba la mare.
San Mateo de Cangrejo,
Yuba la mare.
Mayagüe que fue el primero,
Yuba la mare.
le subió a la montaña,
Yuba la mare.
y bajó con todos los huesos.
Yuba la mare.
¡Retumba! ¡Retumba! Retumba el pasado, presente, prosa, poesía. Retumba el calor, sudor, vaivenes de cuero. Salpicando, sudor, calor, vaivenes, olor, tambor, prieto quemado. Orgullos,
cadereando acentos al español. Conspiración, engrasando ritmos pleneros a la lengua española para ponerle sabor. Pero que retumba en la tumba resbalando. Pico, pico, tuntún de pasta. África. África. África se pierde en Puerto Rico, tirando, 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 tirando vasos nichos a los santos, marcando el 1, 2 en 3 por 4. Y alientan los versos, exaltan los salmos, despierta la clave chupando las cañas. Pracutú, Priniquín, Brucú, tembandeando. Pracutú, Priniquín, Brucú, tembandeando. El secreto máximo de Luis Palés Matos también era un grifo africano guillao de castellano, que de blanco era un grifo babalao o barrey guayemazano. Salió de espírita Luis, mulata liberada. Fue un trabajo de pueblo, una noche secreta. Cogieron a un ñánguigo espíritu Luis que aspiraba a ser blanco. Con un tumbao celestial, lenguas, 2 razas. Lo bautizaron Palés. Añadieron el Matos, Dios, la pava omnipresente, sacude, exprime el trabajo antillano, carifricano, afroespañolizado, manteca, sal y vinagre. Y de pronto se despierta un alma que alienta los cuerpos, maniobrando. Cabecita para arriba, manitas para el lado, deditos en clave, pechito para afuera y salió. Salió un negrindio, sureño, rascacielo de mulato, patología criolla, ogoún, ochoún de barrio, otún derecha de la danza, caracol, cangrejo yemallado, conocedor imprudente, africano. Usted, y tenga, poeta antillano, betún del brillo borincano, Pracutú, Priniquín, tembandeando, Pracutú, Priniquín, bandeando. El secreto máximo que Luis Palés Matos también era un grifo africano guillao. Sí, guillao de castellano. Gracias. Thank you. Gracias. 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 Muchas gracias. That poem was composed by one of my mentors, el New Yorican, Puerto Rican, American, el gran Tato Laveira. Gracias. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Gracias. Sí, sí. And now, the next three poems are composed by one of the greatest poets of all times from the 20th century. He started with this movement, Afro-Antillian poetry, poesía negroide, poesía negrista puertorriqueña, verso negro, el gran Luis Palés Matos. Con ustedes, Majestad Negra. Maestro.
Chambutealo ahí, golpeciamos,
Chambutealo,
golpe linda,
chambutealo,
golpe,
chambutealo,
golpeciamos,
chambutealo,
golpe linda,
chambutealo,
golpeciamos,
chambutealo,
golpe linda,
chambutealo, chambutealo,
chambutealo,
chambutealo, chambutealo.
Por la encendida calle antillana va tembandumba de la quimbamba, rumba, macumba, candombe, bámbula, rumba, macumba, candombe, bámbula, rumba, macumba, candombe, bámbula. Entre dos filas de negras caras. Ante ella un congo, gongo y maraca, rimba, rimba, una conga, bomba que bamba. Culimpondeando, la reina avanza y de su inmensa grupa resbalan meneos cachondos que el Congo cuaja en ríos de azúcar y de melaza. Prieto trapiche de sensual zafra. El caderamen, masa con masa, exprime ritmos, sudas que sangra y la molienda culmina en danza.
chambutealo ahí,
Chambutealo,
golpeciamos,
chambutealo,
golpe linda,
chambutealo,
golpeciamos,
chambutealo,
golpe linda,
chambutealo, chambutealo, chambutealo.
y por la encendida calle Antillana va en tambunca de la quimbamba. Rumba, macumba, candombe, bámbula. Rumba, macumba, candombe, bámbula. Rumba, macumba, candombe, bámbula. Flor de tortola, rosa de Uganda, por ti, por ti, por ti, que repitan bombas y bámbulas, por ti, en calendas desenfrenadas, quema, quema la Antilla de sangre ñángiga. Haití, Haití te ofrece sus calabazas, fogosos rones te da Jamaica. Cuba te dice, óyeme, dale mulata, y Puerto Rico. A cumba, 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 chero,
Cero,
a bongo, 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 cero,
cero.
tiquitica está sonando, cumba, cero, bongo, cero, que se va. Melao, melao, melamba. Sus mis cocolos de negras caras. Tronad, tronad tambores. Vibrad, vibrad, maracas. Y por la encendida calle Antillana, rumba, macumba, candombe, bámbula, 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 rumba, macumba, candombe, bámbula. Va, tembandumba de la quimbamba. Gracias. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Gracias. Esto es también de Luis Palés Matos. Piedad, Señor, piedad por para mi pobre pueblo, donde mi pobre gente se morirá de nada. Aquel viejo notario que pasa los días en su mirimelanta preocupación de rata. Este alcalde adiposo de grande abdomen vacuo, chapoteando en su vida tal como en una salsa. Aquel comercio lento igual de hace 10 siglos. esas cabras que triscan el risol de la plaza. Algún mendigo, algún caballo que atraviesa tiñoso y gris y flaco por estas calles anchas. La fría y atrofiante modorra del domingo jugando en los casinos con billar y barajas. Todo el rebaño tedioso de estas vidas en este pueblo viejo donde no ocurre nada. Todo esto se muere, se cae, se desmorona a fuerza de ser cómodo y de estar a sus años. Piedad, Señor, piedad, para mi pobre pueblo, sobre estas almas simples desata algún canalla que contra el agua muerta de sus vidas arroje la piedra redentora de una insólita hazaña. Algún ladrón que asalte ese banco en la noche, algún don Juan que viole esa doncella casta, algún taur de oficio que se meta en el pueblo y revuelva estas gentes honorables y mansas. Piedad, Señor, piedad para mi pobre pueblo, donde mi pobre gente se morirá de nada. De Luis Palés Matos, otro de sus clásicos, Danza Negra. Calabó y bambú, bambú y calabó.
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 El gran cocoroco dice tucutú, la gran cocoroca dice tocotó. Es el sol de hierro que arde en Tombuctú. Es la danza negra de Fernando Po. El sol del fango gruñe pru pru pru. El sapo en la charca sueña cro cro cro. Calabó y bambú, bambú y calabó.
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 Rompen los cunjunes en furiosa, los gongos trepidan con profunda O. Es la danza negra, es la raza negra que ondulando va en el ritmo gordo del marillantá. Llegan los botucos a la fiesta ya. Danza, danza, danza que te danza la negra Seda. Calabó y bambú, bambú y calabó.
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 El gran cocoroco dice tú, la gran cocoroca dice toco. Pasan tierras rojas, islas de Betún, Haití, Martinica, Congo, Camerún, las papiamentosas Antillas de Ron y las patuolesas islas del volcán que en el grave son del canto se dan. Calabó y bambú, bambú y calabó.
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 Es el sol de hierro que arde en Tombuctú. Es la negra danza de Fernando Puó, el alma africana que vibrando está en el ritmo gordo del marillandá. Calabó y bambú, bambú y calabó.
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 El gran cocoroco dice tú, la gran cocoroca dice do, do, do. Gracias, gracias. Thank you. Thank you. Gracias, thank you. Era para cerrar. We had another popular poet from the 20th century in Puerto Rico who became very popular with, he published the book Dingy Mandinga. ¿Se acuerdan? That was in 1942. In this particular book, Dinga y Mandinga, there was a poem who became known to the whole Caribbean, Puerto Rico, República Dominicana, Cuba. Every poet and declamador wanted to recite and record this particular poem. But I'm sure that you know which poem I'm talking about. Candombes, maestro. Ayer me dijiste negro y hoy te voy a contestar. Mi mamá se siente en la sala y tu abuela, ¿a dónde está? Yo tengo el pelo caído. El tuyo es seda, nama. Tu pai lo tiene bien lacio. ¿Y tu abuela, a dónde está? Tu color te salió blanco. Y la mejilla rosa. Los labios los tienes finos. Y tu abuela, ¿a dónde está? Dice que mi bembe es grande. Y mi pasa colorada. Pero dime por la Virgen. Y tu abuela, ¿a dónde está? Como tu nene es blanquita, me la saca mucho a pasear. Y yo con ganas de gritarte, ¡mira! ¿Y tu abuela? ¿A dónde está? Ajá, 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 ajá. ¿Y tu abuela dónde está? Ajá, 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 ajá. ¿Y tu abuela dónde está? A ti te gusta el flojote y a mí, bruja manigua. Tú te la tiras de blanco. ¿Y tu abuela? ¿A dónde está? Eres blanquito, enchapado, que entras en sociedad. Mira, temiendo que se conozca la mamá de tu mamá. Óyeme aquí que no tiene dinga. ¿Qué es lo que tiene, muchachos?
¡Tiene mandinga!
Eso mismo, tiene mandinga. ¡Ah! Por eso yo te pregunto, ¿y tu abuela? ¿A dónde está? Ayer me dijiste, negro, queriéndome abochornar. Mira, mi abuela sale a la sala y la tuya oculta está. Óyeme, dos, la pobre se está muriendo al verse tan maltratada que hasta tu perro le ladra. ¡Wow, wow, wow! Si acaso a la sala va.
¿Y tu abuela dónde está? 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 ¿Y tu abuela dónde está?
Y bien que yo la conozco. Se llama Se llama Siña Tata. Tú le escondes la cocina. Porque es prieta de a verdad. Gracias. Thank you. Gracias. Gracias. Thank you. Muchas gracias. ¿Ah? For me, they will continue. Ellos continúan. Gracias, gracias. Gracias, gracias, gracias. Yo me retiro, pero los candombes continúan. Muchas gracias, muchas gracias. Thank you. Thank you.
Sery Colón.
Thank you, gracias, gracias. Gracias, thank you so much. Gracias por venir.
Ahora.
Gracias. Oh.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now we're gonna end this con un mini bombazo. Vamos a tirar como 3 más canciones para ti y que cante con nosotros, ¿ok? Y si quieren bailar, you could do that too.
Si no, haga coro, por favor.
Coro. Esta canción que vamos a hacer se titula
Melitón Tumbé, afíname los barriles.
So it's 2 songs in one. This song is from someone from Puerto Rico. Se llama
Ricky Soler, sonero de Mayagüez. Y se la dedicamos a Tato Laveira, of course, y a Ricky Soler porque ya no está con nosotros.
Y también we're going to give this also honor to a lost musician, Jorge Gonzalez. These Gucci Frito lights are killing me. I feel like a acapurria right now. Carne frita.
Melitón tumbé, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé,
Afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé.
En el nombre de un sonero de Mayagüez, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé,
Melitón tumbé, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé.
Pa' poner la gente a bailar, pa' poner la gente a gozar, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé,
Melitón tumbé, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé.
Que llevo una pena y me quiero despojar, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé,
Melitón tumbé, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé.
En el nombre de un sonero Ricky Soler, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé,
Melitón tumbé, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé.
Pa' que baile Juan Irma, oye con mi bembé, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé,
Melitón tumbé, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé.
ay melitón tumbé, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé,
Melitón tumbé, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé.
que llevo una pena y la quiero matar, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé,
Melitón tumbé, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé.
ay melitón tumbé, que hablen los barriles, melitón tumbé,
Melitón tumbé, afíname los barriles, melitón tumbé.
Jorge Vázquez.
Matthew Gonzalez. Suren.
El mayoral me quiere dar, le tocó bomba, tierra va a temblar.
Si el mayoral me quiere dar, le tocó bomba y tierra va a temblar.
Le tocó bomba, bomba, África, le tocó bomba, tierra va a temblar.
Si el mayoral me quiere dar, le tocó bomba y tierra va a temblar.
Me voy pa'l monte yo de madrugada, le tocó bomba, tierra va a temblar.
Si mayoral me quiere dar, le tocó bomba y tierra va a temblar.
Sí, el mayoral me quiere dar, le tocó bomba, tierra va a temblar.
Si el mayoral me quiere dar, le tocó bomba y tierra va a temblar.
Le tocó bomba, bomba, África, le tocó bomba, bomba, África.
El mayoral me quiere dar, me tocó bomba y tierra va a temblar. El mayoral me quiere dar, me tocó bomba y tierra va a temblar.
Tierra va a temblar. Eso, está bien.
This next song is from a dear friend of ours from Puerto Rico called Lero Martinez, young guy from Puerto Rico, an amazing musician. This song is called Boricua Soy. And if you catch on to the coro, sing with us.
Por favor, por favor. No, yo soy un cuchifrito, yo soy una empanada, yo soy acapurria, chicharrones de pollo, tú sabes, bacalaíto, cualquier cosa fritura, tú sabes.
¿Y qué más, Babi? No digas nada, no digas nada.
Mikey. Saluda, Mikey.
Tiene mandinga.
Eso mismo.
Yes, please.
And napkin. God bless the napkin.
Soy el nuevo gobernador.
Vamos, vamos, vamos.
De Rhode Island.
Boricua soy.
Solo bastaría con despertar y mirar bien alrededor para apreciar ese verdor, para apreciar ese palmar. Solo bastaría con mirar para así decirlo y poder reclarar. Me quedo en Borinquen, mi querido lugar, aquí en los confines de mi patrio hogar. Tanto te quiero, Puerto Rico, que hasta en mi cantar te lo explico. Y repito, Puerto Rico, con el corazón te lo dedico. En Borinquen, mi Borinquen, donde nací, me crié, boricua soy y seré.
En Borinquen, mi Borinquen, donde nací, me crié, boricua soy y seré.
Tu verdes campos y tus montañas, qué gran hazaña del jíbaro te diré.
En Borinquen, mi Borinquen, donde nací, me crié, boricua soy y seré.
Tierra bendita, te cantaré por toda la vida, con todo mi ser.
En Borinquen, mi Borinquen, donde nací, me crié, boricua soy y seré.
Hoy doy las gracias y ayer también por haber nacido en Borinquen, Belén.
Mi Borinquen, donde nací, me crié, boricua soy y seré.
Si son tus valles y tus praderas, que hagan belleza del Borinquen, mi Edén.
Mi Borinquen, donde nací, me crié, boricua soy y seré.
Y la del encanto, jardín del Edén, en tu 100 por 35 yo viviré.
En Borinquen, mi Borinquen, donde nací, me crié, boricua soy y seré.
Patria querida, nunca olvidaré, tu playa bella, para mí será mi querer.
En Borinquen, mi Borinquen, donde nací, me crié, boricua soy y seré.
En Borinquen, mi Borinquen, donde nací, me crié, boricua soy y seré.
Mi Borinquen, donde nací, me crié, boricua soy y seré.
Tu verdes campos y tus montañas, qué gran hazaña del jíbaro te diré.
En Borinquen, mi Borinquen, donde nací, me crié, boricua soy y seré.
En Borinquen, mi Borinquen, donde nací, me crié, boricua soy y seré.
En Borinquen, mi Borinquen, donde nací, me crié, boricua soy y seré. En Borinquen, mi Borinquen, donde nací, me crié, boricua soy y seré.
Eso. Lero Martínez Roldán.
Ahora llegamos a la última. Before our last one, I want to introduce Joseito Rivera. One of my teachers. Nelson Seda. Nelson Matthew Gonzalez.
Y el director musical, el jefe de este grupo, por ahora, for today. Mi amigo, mi hermano Jorge Vázquez.
Vaya, gracias.
We want to give thanks to the BMHC, Also, we want to give a shout out to our lovely special guest dancer, Jalisa Sureng, coming out to dance, tearing up the dance floor. Also, giving a shout out to our magnificent poet, Sery Colón.
Definitely.
And of course, the staff of the BMHC, Elena, Bobby, Lynn, everybody here supporting.
Hueco. Todo el mundo.
Always showing support in the events and always giving back to the community today, tomorrow, yesterday, and always for the future. So please support the BMHC. We have some big things coming up. Hopefully in 2020, we will be coming out with their new theater coming out, hopefully. That's right next to Boricua College. So, new amphitheater. So, we want to close this song with a popular song that everybody knows. And our mayor aquí, el maestro José Rivera, is going to sing it. And I'm not even going to say the title because you guys know this song.
Well, it goes into another song. But before that, I would like to say the last time that I saw Tato Laveira perform was on this stage. And I had the pleasure to perform with him here, along with Sery Colón. Bobby couldn't make it that day, so he called me in, and I had a chance to play with him there. So I know Tato for a long time, very long time. We used to play at Julia de Burgos. We used to have every Wednesday this thing called Julia's Jam. We used to play bomba every Wednesday. I was in a group called Yerba Buena. This is a long time ago, which I am a founding member of. And Tato was always there. Tato was always there, always there. And, you know, I got to know him before he got really ill. And he's here with us today. We're doing this and we are celebrating his life. And that documentary was so beautiful. Tato Laveira. Vamos.
My land, my country, I live in pain. And if I don't dance the bomba, I would die. Campo, yo vivo triste. Cada día sufriendo más. Ay Dios, ¿qué será de mí? Si no bailo esta bomba, yo me voy a morir. Yo vivo triste, cada día sufriendo más. Ay Dios, ¿qué será de mí? Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Campo, campo,
campo, yo vivo triste, cada día sufriendo.
Porque estoy sufriendo más.
Ay Dios, ¿qué será de mí? Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir.
Ay, Marcolino ya le dijo a Kirindongo, ay Kirindongo, échate para aquí. porque yo quiero bailar la bomba. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Campo, campo,
Campo, yo vivo triste.
óyeme campito,
Cada día sufriendo
porque
más.
estoy sufriendo más.
Ay Dios, ¿qué será de mí? Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir.
Porque en la tierra de mis abuelos hay mi tierra de mi papá. Y campo yo digo así, porque yo quiero bailar la bomba. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Campo, campo,
Campo, yo vivo triste.
óyeme campito,
Cada día sufriendo
porque
más.
estoy sufriendo más.
Ay Dios, ¿qué será de mí? Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir.
Ay, Marcolino ya le dijo, yeah, Quirindongo, échate para aquí, porque tú quieres bailar la bomba. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Campo, campo,
Campo, yo vivo triste.
óyeme campito,
Cada día sufriendo
porque
más.
estoy sufriendo más.
Ay Dios, ¿qué será de mí? Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir.
Porque la tierra de mis amores, tierra de mi papá, y este campo yo digo así, porque yo quiero bailar la bomba. Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Campo, campo,
Campo, yo vivo triste.
óyeme campito,
Cada día sufriendo
porque
más.
estoy sufriendo más.
Ay Dios, ¿qué será de mí? Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Campo, yo vivo triste.
Tato Laveira,
Cada día sufriendo.
si ahora estoy sufriendo más.
Ay Dios, ¿qué será de mí? Si no bailo esta bomba me voy a morir. Un holandés cantaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés bailaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Los niños bailaban, Nelson Seda cantaba. Un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés bailaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Ay, en la escuela con los niños. Un gracima con holandés.
Un holandés bailaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Elena bailaba y Bobby cantaba. Un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés bailaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
En la boda de Tanila. Un holandés bailaba yo.
Un holandés bailaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Elena bailaba y Bobby tocaba. Un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés bailaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés cantaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés bailaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Nelson cantaba y Gina bailaba. Un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés bailaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Qué noche más buena, qué noche más linda. Un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés bailaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Pa' Tato Laveira yo la cantaba. Un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés cantaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Y Juan me decía, óyeme Nelson, un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés bailaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés cantaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés bailaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Llegaron los bailadores, Nelson Seda cantando. Un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés cantaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Qué noche más buena y nunca la olvido. Un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés cantaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
Baila mulato, baila la bomba. Un holandés con gracima.
Un holandés bailaba yo. 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 Un holandés con gracima. Un holandés bailaba yo. Un holandés con gracima.
¡Huepa, eso!
Nelson Seda, José Rivera, Matthew Gonzalez, Jorge Vázquez, and Sery Colón. Sery, come over here.
Sery Colón.
Ven acá.
Bobby Sanabria.
And I also, again, once more, Nelson Matthew Gonzalez, Jorge Vázquez, José Rivera, Nelson Seda, and Sery Colón. And all the dancers, when you guys
Camina, mate.
all the dancers, and we also want to thank, for the Tato Laveira film, Vivian Hernández Ortiz, Sonia Perez, and Ruth Sanchez. I just have one announcement before you guys go. if you guys love the music that you heard today, Jorge has CDs for sale. If you like the music you heard today, these guys will be playing with us in December here, as well as our parranda that we do every year to the casitas in Melrose on the solstice. We do an actual parranda, casita to casita. A lot of these guys will be part of it, so you can see them do plena all through the Melrose neighborhood. Also, I do want to make one more important announcement. Tomorrow, November 11th, at 11 o'clock, is the 100th centennial, the centennial of the ending of World War I. At 11 o'clock a.m., bells will ring around the world 21 times to remember the fallen from World War I. But to connect this to the Afro-Puerto Rican experience we've been recognizing tonight, one of the people who fought in World War I in the 369th Regiment from Harlem was Rafael Hernández. Rafael Hernández, we played El Cumbanchero. I think you guys sang El Cumbanchero a little bit earlier. One of our most prolific, from Puerto Rico, the most prolific composer throughout Latin America. And so next week, on the 18th, we have Carmen Luca, another poet in her own right. Carmen Luca is in the back there. She'll be organizing the Rafael Hernández Music Festival at the Bronx Library Center. So there's information over at the table. Please take some and recognize Rafael Hernández as well. So everyone, thank you for coming. We hope to see you in all the events that are coming up. And thank you so much for coming out tonight.